आदाब दोस्तों, मैं सुहेल फारूक और आप मुझे YouTube पे देख रहे हैं। वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले घंटी का बटन दबा के मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा ताकि आपको आने वाली तमाम वीडियोस के बारे में बर वक्त इत्तला मिल सके। पाकिस्तान वर्सेस श्रीलंका एशिया कप फाइनल मैच आप सबने देख लिया होगा और रिजल्ट से भी आप लोग जो है वो वाकिफ हो ही चुके होंगे। So I think there is no need to make this video, but since I covered the tournament and I talked a lot about Pakistan versus Afghanistan match, and it was a well-deserved victory for Sri Lanka. They really needed it, and they deserved it too, and they earned it by the hard work and with the enthusiasm, focus, the display of discipline, and the kind of motivation that they had. Their intent was very clear. They came in to win that tournament, and they did it with style. Or on the contrary, final के अंदर पाकिस्तान players की body language वो इतनी अच्छी नहीं थी. They all had their shoulders down, their tails were done not up, and they were just playing because they qualified for the final. And unfortunately, world's #1 player Babar Azam again failed to perform, and that also put a lot of pressure on Pakistani team. But on the contrary, if we compare the whole game, I'm not a cricket expert, but I see that the discipline and the commitment that we saw in Sri Lankan's inning was like one time I think they were 58 for 5, something like this, and then they built up the momentum. Hazaranga played so good with the other player. I don't remember his name. Something very different. Kash. And since I'm watching Sri Lankan players for the first time in a long time, and Hasaranga was somebody I watched when he was in Australia, and he performed so well over there. He performed well with the bat first, and then with the ball as well. So I believe that he was the man of the match because I had to go to my office, so I didn't see the closing ceremony. And that 58 for 5, and then they landed with 170 for 6. That shows the kind of discipline, the kind of commitment, and exceptionally well-organized batting performance by Sri Lanka. And on the other hand, if you compare with Pakistan, I think Pakistanis were 96 for 2 or 98 for 2, and then the collapse started, and then they lost the whole game and lost the match by 23 runs. So what I saw is a great deal of discipline, except for the first over in the Sri Lankan inning, which was like 12 ball overs, and the new bowler was unable to control his swing, and he was like kept throwing the ball away from the batsman. Except for that, their catching was exceptionally good. Their commitment was enormous, and their intent was really that they wanted to win that game. And I think they needed this win because they were coming from a disaster, a financial disaster, and a country which just have seen the worst financial crisis in their country. And they came in and they came with this really, they needed this victory and for their people, for their country, and then they performed so good that they earned it. And hats off to Sri Lankan team. They did all the good work. And I believe that they are going to pose a great deal of threat to India and Pakistan in the matches to come during the World Cup in Australia. मेरे ख्याल में पाकिस्तान को भी जो है वो अपने आप को रिग्रुप करने की ज़रूरत है और उन सारी चीज़ों को देखने की ज़रूरत है कि किस फील्ड में किन किन सेक्शंस में हमें मार पड़ी है. खासतौर पर फील्डिंग का सेक्शन जो था उसमें काफ़ी कोताहियाँ थी, काफ़ी नरमी दिखाई पाकिस्तान ने. और मेरा ख्याल है पाकिस्तानी टीम जो थी वो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम उसकी मोटिवेशन में था. द टीम वाज नॉट वेरी वेल मोटिवेटेड. But I believe that Sri Lankans knew that they had to win that game. They came in with the desire and with the intent and with the commitment to win that game, and they did it. So to me, it was more because at this level, I believe both the teams were there, and Sri Lanka was unbeaten already. So they knew that they could win that game. Pakistan, on the other hand, is a country where we always have taken the leverage of being a lucky team, or we always look for a lucky break, like in the World Cup of 1992. But professionalism and the format of the game has changed so much. So it's luck is not the only factor which is going to work in cricket. There was once we were kids, people used to say cricket by luck, and hockey by trick, and football by power. But I think cricket is a different ball game now, and people have to make sure, all the players have to make sure that they show positive intent when they come to play a game like a final of Asia Cup. I couldn't see, there was a great lack of commitment in Pakistani team. I'm not criticizing them. Somebody had to win that game, but the credit goes to Sri Lanka for putting up a team, and congratulations to those 11 team members who were playing in the field, and I think 5 or 6 who were outside. These are the people who are the heroes for a financially trodden country, and I believe that they brought a great deal of happiness for their country and their countrymen. Once again, congratulations to the winning side. For Pakistan, I think it's about time that we focused more on our area of improvement, because it's good. It's a new day now. That game is over, and we look forward to having a better tournament during the World Cup in Australia. So all the good wishes for Pakistani team, and I believe that Pakistani team has to look into its selection. They had some selection issues, and they relied more upon on the big names, and some of the players, though they stood there for a longer period of time, but they didn't deliver as per the expectation. T20 game, the run rate should have been faster and higher than what they were actually getting at. तो जो भी सूरत हाल हुई, ये टूर्नामेंट था, खत्म हो गया. मेरे ख्याल में श्रीलंका को ही जीतना चाहिए था. श्रीलंका ही जीता है, और श्रीलंका को ही मुबारकबाद भी जाती है. पाकिस्तानी टीम को चाहिए कि वो अब अपने मुस्तकबिल के बारे में सोचे, अगले टूर्नामेंट्स के बारे में सोचे, और किस तरह से उन टूर्नामेंट्स में अपनी उन कोताहियों को और उन कमियों को दूर करना है, उसके बारे में सोचे. थैंक यू वेरी मच. गुड नाइट.